Maddog Magnotti, welcome on this fine Monday morning in January. Nice to have you. You know, the one nice thing about January is that, let me think. I can't think of anything. You know, once the holidays are over, January, I mean, what are you going to do? But hey, nice to have you here. Glad you're tuning in. Got a very good show for you today, but just a couple things beforehand. You know, I was talking to my wife recently, and she said, you know, we're getting on in age a little bit. We really need to start taking care of some things. And she said, you know, funeral stuff, you know, let's call it what it is. And she says, you know, I saw an ad in the paper for some people are selling some funeral plots, and maybe we should look into it. And I said, no, that's the last thing I need. And a friend of mine called me up the other day and said, hey, Mike, you want to go out and have a beer? I said, I can't. I got to go wash my car with my son. And my friend said, why don't you use a sponge? And, you know, when I was a cop and I interviewed people, I could always tell just by looking at them if they were lying. And I could also tell if they were sitting down. I'm sorry. I do the best with these. I know, which isn't very good, but I appreciate you tuning in. I got a very good guest, very interesting topic today. Street talk and other stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti. You stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Everything we do is about delivering very high-quality care and keeping our patients safe.
We really work as a team here, and so that's really what makes it worthwhile.
I give 100% every day, and I do that because I work for a company that I believe gives 100% back to me.
The bottom line is we genuinely care about our employees.
It is the most incredible place to work, and you will be inspired every day.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes. My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Street talk and other stuff, and I'm very happy to have my friend Terry Sloan with us. Terry, you were on once before. Appreciate it. It was a couple years ago.
I was.
See, because Terry is the organizer of the Women's March, which was about 2 years ago.
January 17.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you had about 1,700 people there.
That's correct.
And you got another march coming up this Saturday, or?
It's January 19th.
Okay. So
Saturday, January 19th.
Right, this coming Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
11 a.m. at Memorial Park.
Okay. So if people want to be involved, we're going to go over this information later, but if people want to be involved, again, where do they need to be, what time, and?
Just show up with your sign at Memorial Park at 11 a.m. And we have speakers scheduled for on the courthouse steps.
Right.
2 years ago, we had speakers speak from the back of my pickup with a
I was there. I remember.
With a sort of sound system that we had tried to put together. Chinook Music, great supporter of us. They donated the sound system for us to borrow, and we spoke out of the back of the pickup.
Okay.
So we've upgraded a little bit.
Cool.
We did not march last year, but because the state organization is contacted me. There's a state, Washington State Women's March
Right.
organization, and they are actually paying our expenses, which are things like the park permit and portable toilets. Whereas 2 years ago, we just kind of dug into our own pockets and did our best. And 2 years ago, Jillian Danley from Planned Parenthood and I pretty much took on the organization of the march. This year, we have many more people involved in helping. So.
Okay, well, look, before we talk more about the march,
Okay.
a little bit about yourself. Come on, because you're an interesting gal. You know?
I'm glad you think
again,
so.
Terry falls into the category, if you don't know this woman, you should. But, you know, so.
Well, I just retired last June from 31 years of teaching at the Eastmont School District.
Right.
And I'm right now kind of learning how to be retired. I feel like I'm busier now than when I was working. Elementary school teacher, but I'm also very involved in community theater.
Right.
Mission Creek Players board member. Helping perform the last 3 years at the Performing Arts Center in the fall of each year. So
And the last play you directed was?
August Osage County.
Yeah, because that was well received, I remember.
At the Performing Arts Center 3 years ago. My husband built the set. He about lost his mind, but he built the set for me.
How much did this test your, how long have you been married again?
Mike Abbott and I have been married 12 years.
Okay, all right. Did this test the bonds of, you know?
It made us closer. It made us closer.
You know what somebody once told me? They said, never test your marriage to the point where you wallpaper together.
Oh.
Okay, so actually we were going to do that once, my wife and I, but she said, now wait till I get home from work, because I was off that day. But when she got home, it was all done. I said, honey, I love you too much to try to wallpaper with you. Our marriage would never survive.
Right, right. I know what you mean.
I love you, honey. I love you.
My husband is all elbows and, you know, got to stay out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
Stay out of the way, yeah.
Okay, the upcoming march, again, this Saturday.
This Saturday. Over the last 2 years, many, many things have been accomplished that we marched for 2 years ago. They're beginning to be accomplished.
And what were the things you're looking for? I mean, what is the point of this, okay?
Two years ago, people were very, very concerned about the current administration.
Sure.
And the circumstances in which the current administration was elected when 3 million people voted for the other person.
Right.
You know, so, and they were very concerned about women's rights because the current administration appeared to come on in an attitude of sexual misconduct.
You know, yeah, he didn't appear. I'm sorry, the man is inappropriate.
Right.
Okay, very much so. And it's just it's crazy to me that we keep electing these guys. And I'm not one of these people who say, yeah, but this guy did that. Everybody stands on their own. But no, the man is unacceptable. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of you people like him, and that's fine. You can. All right, but I'm with you.
Well,
on
I
this.
think time has told, and time will tell, with the criminal activities that have been accused, that we didn't elect the person we thought we were electing. And we have 3 branches of government.
Right.
And Congress has an obligation to hold the executive branch accountable. And they have not been doing that.
Right.
And I think with our midterm elections, we saw that people wanted to change.
And so this is a big motivation for, you know, you planning these marches, right?
Right.
It's looking for social change and
Right.
governmental change.
Right. And health care for all was the #1 priority in the midterms elections. I mean, that seemed to be the thing when people were out campaigning that people were most concerned about. Affordable health care. And you yourself were just telling me a story about how expensive health care is. So that's a major issue.
Terry and I agreed that we're, you know, I have utmost respect for you. Like you very much. That's as far as we're going to go on this one. So.
Right, right. But women's health care has taken a hit.
Sure, yeah.
And however you stand on pro-life or pro-choice, preventing unwanted pregnancies is the #1 solution to having to decide if you have an abortion or not. So I think I just heard that Oregon State is going to start requiring insurance companies to pay for birth control.
Okay.
And so we're advocating for that. We're advocating for that, and other healthcare needs of women. Women have very different healthcare needs than men, and and anatomically they are more expensive.
Are women all that anatomically different than men? Are they?
Well,
yeah, of course they are. And it's
I
a
mean,
great thing.
think
It's
about it.
wonderful, yeah.
Women's clothes are more expensive. Women's cosmetics are more expensive. If I buy men's clothes, I could save a lot of money. You know, so there's all kinds of issues there. But that's not the only issue.
Yeah, and the issue of equal pay for comparative work hasn't been completely settled yet. I mean, it's better than it used to be, but it's still not where it needs to be. So,
immigration, fair immigration policies is huge. I mean, when we see images of children locked in cages and children dying, this is not acceptable. Not acceptable. And there is an argument for addressing climate. I mean, without a healthy environment, none of the rest of it matters, right? So we have got to address clean air, clean water, and this current administration has rolled back regulations, which has not helped. North Dakota has natural gas, just a third of it burning off.
Right.
You know,
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to go into that.
All right.
Now,
okay. But
yeah, but
there are many issues. Right. Right. So.
All right, now you mentioned a minute ago that there's been a lot of stuff that's come up since the last March 2 years ago before this one. What are some of those things that are going to be added to the agenda?
Well, may I tell a story about the stories I heard after the last March?
Yeah, for sure.
After the last March, numbers of people came up and said, "Thank you for doing that. It changed my life. I knew there were other people who felt like me. I didn't feel so alone." And that motivated the organization of groups like Indivisible. Many groups have formed to address the current administration. So people became more active in communicating with their representatives, phone calling, letter writing, postcard writing. Resist-a-bot, are you familiar?
No, I'm not.
Resist-a-bot is a text. You can immediately text your issue that you want to contact your local representatives or your national representatives, and that letter or message will go directly to their office. So you have at your fingertips the ability to communicate with the people who represent you. And in our 8th district, we found that our former 8th district representative at the state level wasn't really willing to meet with his constituents.
Yeah. This is Mr. Reichert.
Yes, he avoided meeting with his constituents. Now, when I wrote to him, he always wrote back, but he did not support the president showing his tax returns. He did not support an investigation into the possibility of a relationship with Russia during the election. And so consequently, because of the efforts on Indivisible and the Democratic Party, doorbelling, phone calling, getting the vote out, we now have Kim Schreier as our representative for the 8th district. That's huge. There's never been a Democrat in that position. So I think we're making a difference.
Okay.
Making a difference.
Well, we are talking with Terry Sloan. She is the organizer of the...
One of the organizers with Women's March Wenatchee.
Okay.
And thanks to Karen Kellerman, leader in the Democratic Party, who's helping, although not organizing. But I've tried to be more inclusive and have the Hispanic population represented by people
very
on a
important, sure.
committee. The Pride, there's people from Pride on the committee. We have high school kids on the committee helping to plan. And we've got I'm so impressed with Claire Nell from Leavenworth High School, junior, who's going to be a speaker.
Oh, cool.
And we have some good speakers lined up, so I hope people will come.
All right, now again, this march is going to be this weekend, this Saturday.
No, January 19th.
January 19th.
Oh, you're right. You're right. According to the filming, it is.
Yes, this week. Oh, she just gave it away. We're taping this show. Okay?
Sorry.
It's all right. It's fine. Look, this is what's interesting about live TV. You know, she said to me before. Terry said to me before. I said we're gonna do this. She says, "Well, since you're taping the show, is it going to be edited?" I said, "No. Only gutless cowards are worried about that kind of stuff." But hey, Terry, stick around. Street Talk and other stuff. We got to take a break. I'm talking with Terry Sloan. You stick around. We'll be right back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you know that dental disease is the #1 illness affecting a pet's health? Bacteria from the mouth gets carried into your pet's blood and can affect the heart, lungs, and kidneys. By age 3, nearly 75% of pets have some form of dental disease. Dr. Shauna Bass and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital care about your pets, and good dental care can help your pet live a long and happy life. Learn how to clean your pet's teeth or see what Paws and Claws can do to keep your pet smiling by calling 888-PAWS or see us on the corner of 4th and Island, East Wenatchee.
NCW Life Channel is proud to present the Spotlight on Business. We're going behind the scenes to bring you the story of local businesses throughout North Central Washington. How did they get started, and why are they so successful? We'll answer these and other questions each week with Spotlight on Business, Sundays through Fridays on the NCW Life Channel.
When our customers come to Senior Insurance, again, we're thinking more about the whole experience, and that's why I took a lot of time to design a space like this, where we teach people about Medicare. We don't sell insurance, we teach you how to buy insurance, because buying is something you do, and I want folks to be a part of this. So as they're heading out, I hope they feel like they've been educated, they're now in a suitable fit, and I hope they also had a good laugh and a good time.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Street Talk and other stuff. I'm with Terry Sloan. We were talking about the Women's March that's coming up this Saturday on the 14th. And what I wanted Terry specifically to talk about was some of the issues that have come up since the last march. Now, you're planning on trying to do the march on an annual basis from now on, right? Is that the hope?
We hope.
Okay.
We hope it's an anniversary march.
Okay, but since the last march 2 years ago, there's a lot of stuff that's come up, like the Me Too movement, for example, has just exploded. So why don't you speak on that a little bit and, you know, what the idea is for addressing that type of thing?
I think the time was ripe for, especially with the administration attitude that he had, the time was right for people to speak up.
Yeah. And boy, have they been.
And what's been buried for many, many, many years and culturally accepted for many, many years is now coming to light. And it's not okay.
No, not at all.
It's not okay, and it's a little bit like being trained that your behavior is acceptable, and then realizing no, it's not, and so then you have to change.
And the behavior we're talking about is improper sexual behavior of men towards women, correct?
It can be women towards men.
Right, and I know that.
But the majority is.
when I used to teach domestic violence classes, you know, for the police departments, somebody would always say, well, men abuse women too. I said, yes, they do, but it's a different dynamic, and that's not what we're dealing with today.
Right.
Okay, we have to
Right.
deal with the reality, which is that the primary of these things, domestic violence and sexual assault, are committed by men, okay, and that's the primary issue we have to deal with.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay. Sorry, I get a little bit vehement.
Well, women are killed at the hands of their partner.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not killed by the
Right.
stranger on the street.
Right, no, exactly.
So-
The majority of murders by far are
Yeah.
men killing partners.
Right. So it's, I think of my father and generationally, the way little girls were trained to be silent and in order to gain acceptance by the other sex, that you act in a certain way.
Right.
And these are all wrong.
Yeah.
This is all inappropriate.
There was again, I used to take, if a woman came in and made a report of a sexual assault, she could get free counseling, and I would make time available to talk to women. I mean, it may have happened 20, 30 years ago, and one of the gals came in and, you know, told me about her experience, and she just said she'd been taught by her mother, if you act like a lady, you'll be treated like a lady.
Right.
And so she kept trying to behave and be a good girl, and she couldn't, you know, it just, there was no connection on how she kept allowing herself to be vulnerable, not placing any responsibility on her, but assimilating that role of being vulnerable all the time was what was
culturally accepted.
Culturally accepted, but very detrimental to her.
And it's changing.
Yeah.
Our young women today, thank God, are learning to say no.
Right, they need to. Yeah.
To express their wants and needs openly and not defer to the opposite sex.
Right.
You know,
and this is, and men need to know that there's certain behaviors that are acceptable and not. When I have young clients in my counseling practice, I usually go over this with them. No means no, okay? And you don't want to be the type of person who forces themselves on somebody to do something they don't want to do. There was a gal who, Jean Woods used to work for Sage. I don't know if you knew Jean or not. Wonderful woman who passed away some time ago. We used to do presentations at schools. And I'd always ask these guys, how many of you want to grow up calling your wife nasty names or beating them? Of course, none of them will raise your hand. I said, well, why are 25 to 75% of you going to do it?
Right.
I said, because you need to consider in your mind that some behavior isn't appropriate, but you need to learn what appropriate behavior is. I told you not to get me started, Terry.
But it's also more subtle than that, because any unwanted words, any unwanted touch, it is inappropriate.
Right.
And you have to say, no, I don't want you to touch me there, or no, don't speak to me that way.
Right. And we men need to learn this without taking offense and being put on the defensive, okay? Which is, it's a struggle for us, okay?
Right.
Because you got a guy, who is trying to be a good person, and he feels like, just natural mistakes or stuff. As you said, your father and our generation was raised in a certain way. Yeah, we make mistakes, we make errors, but we need to be open to learn that some stuff just, we shouldn't go there.
Right.
We shouldn't go there.
Right. As teachers, we're trained every year. We have to go through a 90-minute training every year on bullying and sexual behavior.
Right.
Inappropriate sexual behavior is one of those trainings. So we take it for granted that it's common sense, but it's not.
No, not at all. It's not. It's not.
You cannot assume that people know how to behave until you make it clear how you want them to behave.
Right, and people need to stop and examine their values and belief system so that they can accept that, well, no, wait a minute, I may not mean offense by this, but if someone else has taken offense, I have to show respect for that.
Right.
So,
but historically, part of the Women's March movement is to create awareness around how long is it going to take for women to be paid equally to men for equal work.
Right.
This is an issue that affects women for their whole lives. Their potential earnings are way less than men's. So at retirement time, more women live in poverty than men do, and poverty is a contributing factor.
Right.
We need to address poverty as well. and people need to have a living wage. We need to have an economy where people can make a living wage. And the most poor in the country are single women with children. So there are lots of contributing factors.
Right.
And sexual inappropriate behavior is just part of that. But it's part of keeping a section of population down. You know, so we have to raise up the awareness. How long is it going to take?
Sure.
Women are equal to men.
Yes, they are.
Women are equal to men.
Okay.
And that's why we're marching.
Sounds
And
good.
everyone
Sounds
is
good.
welcome. Everyone. This is not
there were men,
This is
you
not
know.
an anti-male movement
I mean,
at
you
all.
like men.
I do.
Right? My wife likes men. My
Yes,
daughter likes me.
I do, and it's everyone is welcome. All religions, all colors, all sexual preferences. Everyone is welcome.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So you're hoping to beat the numbers this year. You had about 1,700 last year.
that's a hard number to beat.
Yeah,
I
okay.
hope we beat that number. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm talking with Terry Sloan. She's one of the organizers for the Women's March that's coming up this Saturday, the 19th of January. It's going to meet at 11 o'clock at Memorial Park. That's
Correct.
the main courthouse in Wenatchee.
Right.
Okay, and there'll be speakers.
There'll be speakers, and then we'll take a little walk.
Okay, where will the...
We are going
what's
to
the path?
walk. We are going to walk toward the traffic down Mission
Mm-hmm.
2 first, and then down to Chelan and back, and come back up. So not too long of a walk.
Okay.
But against the traffic. So get your sign ready, and be ready to go.
Okay.
So people see you.
All right, so street talk and other stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti talking with Terry Sloan. We're going to say goodbye to her in a minute, but we're going to take a quick break, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Only one country could build a truck like this. Designed in California, engineered in Michigan, tested in Arizona, and assembled in Mississippi. Powered by Cummins of Indiana. The all-new Nissan Titan. It's an American classic. Is it on your list? Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. At Rose, we have the latest Cub Cadet snow throwers, single stage, 2-stage, and even 3-stage. We have Cub Cadet snow throwers that can tackle any job, large or small. Stop in and let our friendly staff help you find a snow thrower that's right for you. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Okay, street talk and other stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti talking with Terry Sloan. She is the Women's March of Wenatchee, one of the
organizers. There are other people.
And again,
helping.
tell people again when it's going to be. I know we've gone over it a couple times, but I want them to remember. So
It's January 19.
Right, this Saturday.
11 a.m. Memorial Park. Just show up.
Okay, there'll be
Just show up.
speakers.
There'll be speakers,
There'll
and
be
we'll take a
portable-
little walk.
There'll be portable toilets.
Portable toilets, right? And
All right, you mentioned signs. What type of signs should people be carrying? Quick,
well,
briefly.
there are many things that people feel passionate about,
Yeah.
and so whatever your passion,
Okay.
you know.
There was a very interesting one about our president the last time. I can't remember exactly what it said, but
Well,
it was this little old lady carrying it. I thought that was pretty funny. So.
We're not going to censor anyone.
Okay.
But we do encourage advocating for your issue and not against something.
Okay, great. All right. Street Talk and Other Stuff, Mike Maddog Magnotti. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Bye-bye.
I'm Tom.